it's time to get your equipment ready for the season. Landmark Implement has high-quality used John Deere planters, sprayers, and tractors, priced to move and ready to work for you. Take advantage of unbeatable deals and flexible financing to upgrade your operation without stretching your budget. Stop by your local Landmark Implement or browse our full inventory online at landmarkimp.com. Before these deals are done, experience the Landmark difference.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Early break.
How to present the card.
Present your credit card or your debit card. And you're presenting generally
At first,
debit.
when you said that, I thought you were talking about your business card. And I go, so you're giving them your business card.
Oh,
Thank you. And I'm Steve Sipple from On
No.
3. And
No.
if you need to log in, do that.
You will get an occasional like
with Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, and Bill Bush from 6 to 9 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet Eric Strickland, Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman, middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
That it is. Welcome into a Wednesday edition of the show. I'm Austin Orman, joined right now by Eric Strickland. Jay Foreman will be along in just a moment. Lots to get to today. We'll dive into some news from Nebraska men's basketball out of the transfer portal to lead things off. We'll talk some Husker baseball. We'll talk some NBA. All sorts of stuff on the docket. Two guests today. We'll have one at 3:30, one at 4:30. Eric Strickland, who's our guest at 3:30 today?
Chris Crutchfield,
Woo!
University of Omaha head coach, will be joining us at 3:30 to chop it up, because I think the conversation is going to be a good one, a valid one as well, regarding, just all things transfer, NIL, and again, securing guys and understanding your niche, understanding who you are, and just being the best at where you are and who you are.
And we talked about that with Crutch last year when we were able to get him on the show, especially around the departure of Frankie Fiddler, right? Where it sounded like Coach Crutchfield understood where Omaha kind of stood in the pecking order of things. But a year like this, Strick, it doesn't change everything, but it makes people take another look. It raises people's eyebrows. So we're super excited to talk to Coach Chris Crutchfield about that coming up in about 20 minutes or so. Big thanks to the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese for their sponsorship of the show. Stricky, let's jump in here. Do you want to hit the good news for Nebraska men's basketball or the bad news first?
I always want to start with the bad, just get it out the way. And it goes along the way that I feel about how Nebraska's basketball season is gone. how any season goes or how any situation goes, how you can turn the bad, knock out the pain of whatever it is, and then hopefully have better thoughts on things that are good. That's kind of my philosophy on that.
All right, here's the bad news. A Bulldog lefty left the Nebraska basketball program. Nick Janowski, yesterday night, enters the transfer portal. You're shaking your head. You're sighing. Feels like that's a big loss for Nebraska.
So a lot of people will say, well, he wasn't good enough. He redshirted. He did. No, it doesn't mean anything. I think it's an understanding of where you are, what you're trying to build. The issue is again, you have to recruit. You still have to recruit internally. You have to make them feel comfortable. He's already away from home. He's probably feeling some kind of way. He probably could have thought he could have had some form of impact on this season. But then I speak about the things that we talk about often, and that's it's not greener on the other side always. And it could be. It could be for him. I think when there's an exodus, and if you're and I come from that same thing, I'm looking at Pikowski and I'm looking at it like, oh, he's gone. My turn. And you look at the Nebraska program, you look at the exit of Juwan and both Bryce, who were integral parts of Nebraska's success in the last 2 years, right? And you're up next.
And you're up next.
You're up next. At either of those positions. Gavin Griffiths leaves. Essegian's still there. But if I'm him, I'm like, I've seen him all, I've been scout team. I know he can't defend me. I know, there's just all types of things I'm saying in my head. I'll take that competition. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm beginning to wonder, Austin, if people actually want the smoke. That's the question I really have about the transfer portal, because it doesn't make sense to me. And I'm old school, and I know that this is a new wave of.
This isn't old school; it's on the block.
Well, that is true. That is true. I just look at it from a standpoint, man, of it's just a change. It's a change of the way things are, and it's not always guys don't want smoke. What's my guy over at Florida? Came from Iona.
Oh, Walter Clayton.
Walter Clayton Jr. Right. Clayton Jr. is a testament to that, I think, where the extreme part, you're good enough, you're successful enough, I think I shared with you that on the Final Four teams, there's like 6 or 7 guys that were literally 0-star. Roberts was one, guys that no one really looked at and they recruited, and here they are, success. Right. And that's the thing that I find, interesting about the landscape. And this is why I think it's important for Nebraska. Nebraska doesn't want to pay to play, so they're going to have to do it a different way. And I think that's why this conversation with Crutchfield is interesting, because I think although the levels are different, the conferences are different, I still think the main thing or the main theme of it all is equal.
Yeah.
If you're not going to pay to play, you're going to have to do it another way. And I think he's one of the ones that's doing it in that way.
I tend to agree. While we're on Nick Janowski, let's hit a couple texts here from the text line. Brad says he played 0 minutes. Nebraska.
I knew somebody was going to say that.
And that's a bad take. Go off, Stricky.
I knew, and that's why I said, oh, you didn't play any minutes. No. You're a program that is not willing to get in the game. You have to keep guys like that in your program.
Retain and develop. You
have to retain and develop. You're not willing to get in there and play. So what do you want? What else you want to do? I understood what they were doing. They were trying to keep him, knowing that Juwan's going to be, and there's not going to be a whole bunch of minutes there. Why spend waste the guy's eligibility? He's a guy that's gonna be fine. And I bet you when you watch him down the road, to me, when I look at his style of play, his physicality, he reminds me of a better version of Greasel. Now, You come on here and say you didn't like Riesel? Okay, well,
Okay.
have at that.
Brad says find people who are good enough to play. Janowski was good enough to play.
He was good
They
enough
were
to
very
play.
close to yanking his red shirt, and Fred said again today they were close to yanking Frager's red shirt. But the losing streak came so late toward the end of the year that you're right, Strick. On the one hand, the red shirt is really good for a program like Nebraska because it allows them to bring a guy in, let him sit, develop, mature,
Let him get
and then
physical,
play him.
grow. Yeah.
But it's also good for a player.
Yeah.
To acclimate
Mature.
to college, to mature,
Yep.
to learn the system and all that sort of stuff. We brought up these names, these numbers, these players a couple weeks ago now, but I think it's worth going back over. Kevin Cross played as a freshman, probably shouldn't have, was okay, put up decent numbers, really blossomed at Tulane, was a really good player. The comparison that I think is most apt, though, is Eli Rice. He had to know the plan. Nebraska had to tell him going in, you're going to redshirt. If we pull your redshirt, this is what you have to do to get on the court. Nick Janowski knew going in he was going to redshirt. It wasn't a surprise that he wasn't playing. And that to me is a bit of the disappointment. You were okay with this plan all year. You knew in the recruiting process this was the most likely outcome. What changed? That we don't know.
Yeah.
It sounded like from a couple sit downs that Nick Janowski did, loved the coaching staff, loved the scheme, loved the style and everything. It was okay with it, right? It was ready to compete. In fact, in the video that I was watching, he said, what does he bring to the table? His heart. No one outworks him on the court. So then why does it feel like he's ducking the smoke? What changed in this year that now all of a sudden you're not bought into that plan that's the same plan as 12 months ago when you know the staff really likes you? Maybe the numbers change from another program. Maybe it's homesick. Maybe it's, he just felt like it was time for whatever it was. But that's what annoys me about all of this. Okay, what's that other piece?
No, I want you to finish the annoying. I'm just saying there's another piece to what you just said. There's also the home people, the neighborhood people. They're in your ear, and that can happen. That can have an effect on you too. Go ahead.
Okay, Brad says, we do this all the time with the football team. People commit, aren't good, don't play or contribute. They leave, we freak out. The entire point is that
freaking out.
We're not freaking out, but the point is that Nick Janowski is a good basketball player.
Facts.
He's going to go to Wisconsin or Marquette. He's going to play a role, and it's going to be another what if for Nebraska. These are the names that we brought up before, right? Like Samari Curtis, Akola Rope, Elijah Wood, Denham Dawson, Oleg Koyanets, right? Karan McPherson. Those are
and
names
let's
that
not
Nebraska,
talk about the ones they passed over.
Right. The ones they passed over, the ones they got in. Nebraska has had zero from high school recruiting. Bryce McGowan's for 1 year, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Sam Hoiberg might be the next best high school recruit that Nebraska's had. When maybe Jamarcus Lawrence plays his way back into that conversation, but he left. Right now he's back. Do you count that? I don't know. This is the main point, more so than any one specific player, is that Nebraska hasn't gotten anything out of high school recruiting, and that is a problem for this program who, to Strick's point,
why
cannot pay to play with the
there
big
you
boys.
go.
Because when
bigger
Nebraska
plan.
identifies talented players out of high school, they can't keep them.
Yep.
And when Nebraska identifies guys out of high school, they sometimes can't hack it at the D1 level. I think Janowski is going to be one that comes back to bite Nebraska for not being able to keep him around. Whether that's Nebraska's fault for not playing him to give him a taste of, hey, you're going to be a feature option next year. You're an important piece for us. Or maybe that's Nebraska's fighting against factors outside of their control. Whatever it is, it feels like right now, this is one that's going to hurt Nebraska because, Strick, I guarantee every team in the conference is going to have eyes on Nick Janowski, is going to reach out on him because of his pedigree, because of his 6'4", 200-pound guard that can absolutely stroke it from three.
He's got a burner.
He is the prototypical Big Ten guard. Nebraska doesn't land guys like that very often. There's a reason he was such a big get for Nebraska. And now the fact that they aren't able to keep him around just twists the knife even more.
I don't have nothing to add to that. Yeah, that's the way I feel. And again, there's a bigger picture. You know, a lot of people whoever the texture is looking at it in a black and white issue. It's so much bigger than a black and white issue, and that's the part that I think you're missing. It's not all up in arms over the fact of whatever the football correlation is. No, it's none of that. For me, it's a bigger picture because you're playing consistent Russian roulette in the casino with the hopes of landing And how does that work for you so far? Has BK did Baryuktin gel work yet?
Didn't hit yet.
I mean, it was, to me, it was a fail. Like, I'm not even playing. Like, BK to me this year has been a fail. It's so far, especially for what you've paid.
Yeah.
Guess who paid $2 million for 1 year? Florida. For who's the name of the guy?
Walter Clayton.
And what did they get on that return?
Real high return on that investment.
So anyway, that's my last point.
And here's the thing. We have some people texting you, why did he leave? What's the rationale? We don't know, right? If it's on Nick Janowski changing his mind, if it's on him wanting to be back home, man, that just really stinks that Nebraska, didn't feel more like home, couldn't up the offer to make it worth him to stay, whatever it is. Let me just say, I highly doubt that Nebraska was pushing Nick Janowski out. I think they really believed in his future. I think they really liked him. I think this is a decision on the player. And it's just wildly unfortunate for Nebraska that they won't be able to retain him. And to be completely fair, maybe Nick Janowski doesn't make an impact. Maybe it doesn't hurt. But I think of all the guys that we've seen leave, there's a much clearer path for him to be a contributor at the very least than a lot of the other guys Nebraska's lost. So that's the bad news. Nebraska is down Nick Janowski. Wish the young man the best of luck wherever he goes. Really hope it doesn't come back to bite Nebraska in the butt. The good news, though, Nebraska has landed a couple other transfer portal commits. We'll start with the in-state one, a guy by the name of Will Cooper. He went to Millard South, was out at Air Force for a year straight. This is a guy that only played in 15 games for the Falcons this year, but shot 37% from three. He strikes me as a redo on Gavin Griffith. I mean, 6'6", 210, supposed to shoot the ball, kind of long, lanky. Some people I know said, okay, worth an upside swing. Some people said he was probably at the best level that he was at, playing in the Mountain West for Air Force. I don't have much to say on this one. It's size, it's shooting, maybe worth a flyer, but I wouldn't expect Will Cooper in the rotation for Nebraska next year. I don't know.
I need teepee. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to play out, but you like you say, taking a flyer, you hope that it's a rink mass type of flyer, because a lot of people took bad takes on rink mass when he came in, and I'm sure they ate crow on that.
Right.
Yeah.
The other good news for Nebraska is that they get a player by the name of Kendall Blue to commit. He played a pretty integral role for St. Thomas, a team that finished second in the Summit League Conference behind Omaha. Of course, head coach Chris Crutchfield will join us here in about 10 minutes. Kendall Blue, though,
we're going to ask him about him. I'm going to ask him about his personal thoughts on him. Go ahead.
For sure. So, at least from watching the film, what I saw, Blue is a lefty, 6'6", 190. This is if you're looking for a Bryce Williams replacement, which you're not going to find, but if you're looking for kind of the starter kit, that's what you got here. Kendall Blue last year at St. Thomas started all 34 games for the Tommies, who finished as regular season and conference tournament runners-up behind Omaha. 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2.5 assists per game, 51% field goal shooting, 42% from three, 73% at the line. Just from watching his transfer portal highlights, Stricky, he's a lefty, pretty good, pretty repeatable shot mechanics, finished pretty well at the rim. Again, not maybe the same level of physicality or competition in the Summit League, but he wasn't afraid to use his offhand. He was really good off the bounce with both hands, left and right, willing passer in a system strict that emphasized a lot of cutting. St. Thomas didn't have a bunch of high flyers. It wasn't just roll the ball out there. We know that's what Nebraska wants to get back to. Fred Hoiberg said as much today. I'm not going to say Kendall Blue is the next Bryce Williams, but at the very least, Nebraska went out and identified that archetype. They like what Bryce Williams brought to the table. They're giving themselves another bite at that apple with this guy who played some relatively high-level basketball.
Looking forward to seeing what comes with that. Again, a piece of that also is going to be chemistry. How quickly can these guys come together, gel, understand, their roles, what the coaching staff is trying to accomplish? Can they defend? Those are going to be key components for Nebraska's success. Defense, being sound fundamentally, and their willingness and their ability to share. Because, again, there's no one that I can see at this point that's just this Terrence Shannon type, get downhill, get a bucket, clear space, open up, just let me go. There's no one like that. So Jamarcus is probably the closest thing to someone who literally can break down defense, especially in transition. That's really where I think he thrives. And I'm looking forward to seeing who's going to be the shot maker this year. Right? We know that was Bryce. Bryce was for the most part a tough shot maker. Kept you in games, could take control if you needed it to, as far as handling pressure, all of those things. Who's that going to be this year? That's what's going to be the interesting part to watch.
Fred Hoiberg was asked a little bit about that, or answered that, even if he wasn't explicitly asked about it. Fred Hoiberg said the words that Husker fans are going to hate to hear, but I think that you and I kind of agree with. He said Nebraska doesn't really need a true point guard. They have a bunch of guys that can initiate the offense. But to your point, Strick, when it comes to the end of the shot clock, when it comes down to the last 10 seconds, you have to break a guy down. It's got to be Jamarcus Lawrence on the roster right now. Fred Hoiberg seems to think that the Price Sanford will handle the ball at a pick and roll some. But really, Strick, I think what's going to go a long way for next year's team is, have they upped the level of basketball IQ? Next time I have a chance, I want to ask Fred about the cutting in 2022-23. You think about all the times Keisei Tominaga scored on back cuts. Even CJ Wilcher was good at that. Griesel from time to time when Walker was handling. There wasn't nearly as much player movement. And I would be curious to know, Strick, by asking Fred, or even just from what you can see from the outside, if those cuts were play calls or triggers in the offense, or if that was high-level basketball IQ. Because if Nebraska's not going to have a guy like Bryce Williams that can break the defense down a little bit or go hit a tough shot, you got to have all 5 guys in motion, creating confusion for the defense, and then knowing that right time to cut off a guy on the block or cut off a guy with the ball at the top of the key when the defense is sleeping. And Nebraska lost so many easy points over the last couple of years because they just didn't have the same level of cutting that they did between Keisei Tominaga and Derek Walker.
Okay. I think some of that stems from IQ, because the closest one to it was maybe BK. But Mia and Morgan were reluctant to pull trigger on a lot of that action, whether it's weak side curl or whether it's curl over the top with a flow to the basket. Sometimes even the cutter wasn't looking, which is on the onus is on them too, right? Because it's not necessarily where the IQ comes in. It's not necessarily the initial cut. It's the late part of it. It's okay. If you're talking football, right? There's something that a receiver would do. I play receiver, so I kind of have an idea of this, right? Ball is released. You know it's released. He doesn't. So you keep running until the last minute.
Then you
don't tip. You know it's released, but you don't tip. You might look to observe, put your head, okay, you track, put your head down, track, boom, last minute. Because DBs are taught to reach last minute and but if you're on that late cut and you kind of know and expect that you're probably going to pop open late just by space, the offensive center needs to lead towards the basket, literally, to where you catch and just able to go straight up.
No dribble, nothing. Just lead him right to the rim.
Right. That pass should land about 3 feet before the backboard to where you can catch. You're not under the backboard to where you got to jump back into the defense. You're literally catching going up, right? They never found that, but Rink did. Yeah. Rink understood, okay, they're curling off of this action. Guess what's open? The late pass, not the early, because what happens if you catch it late, there's going to be help. This is why you don't throw it early, because the weak side bottom guy slides over for a touch or a help or a look to see if you're going to throw it. So a couple things can happen. It's the late because they think you got off of it. So they start to retract and go back closer to the D. Why? If you've got a Bryce or you've got a shooter in that corner,
you got to be there.
A quick zip to a shot, you got to be close enough to close out or run them off, right? And that's when if you pass fake to the corner, he retreats and then drop that late pass. See, it's the same thing that a quarterback would do.
Mm-hmm.
When a quarterback drops, doesn't matter, 3, 5, 7.
Mm-hmm.
But he looks this way. Why? To move the safety.
Mm-hmm. And then throw right behind.
And come behind him with a post.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I know I'm looking post. I know what coverage I got.
But he knows where I'm looking.
But
so
he knows where I've got it.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things. It's very similar in basketball. It's misdirection. It's why people love Magic Johnson. Right? Mm-hmm. All of those things are important in basketball.
There's a lot going on there. So much more that we can dive into. We're going to take our first break of the show. When we return, we'll have Chris Crutchfield, head coach of the Omaha Mavericks, with us. Super excited to sit down, chat with him. Give us your questions as well on the text line 402-464-5685. We'll chat with Chris Crutchfield, head coach of Omaha men's basketball, on the other side of On the Block.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion, for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Spring has arrived, the temperatures are rising, and it's time to get your equipment ready for the season. Landmark Implement has high-quality used John Deere planters, sprayers, and tractors, priced to move and ready to work for you. Take advantage of unbeatable deals and flexible financing to upgrade your operation without stretching your budget. Stop by your local Landmark Implement or browse our full inventory online at landmarkimp.com. Before these deals are done, experience the Landmark difference.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
This is Monster Jam. Big air, backflips, and all-out racing. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. The fun begins at the pit party, where you can meet the drivers, get autographs, take pictures, and see the trucks up close. Get your pit party pass at monsterjam.com today. Must have valid event ticket to enter pit party. Restrictions may apply. Rules and activities are subject to change. Visit website for event details. Coming to Pinnacle Bank Arena April 18th through 19th.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
Oak Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with the child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Welcome back to On the Block. E. Strick here, as well as Austin Orman. Jay Foreman will be joining us shortly. Just adjust the camera for me a little bit, just to put me more in the middle if you can for me, Austin. Joining us on the line today is my guy, my friend, longtime friend, Chris Crutchfield, the coach of the University of Omaha. I got to make sure I say that. University of Omaha Mavericks. Crutch led his team to a in-season Summit League championship, a tournament Summit League championship, getting to the NCAA tournament, and we're gonna discuss that, that with him, that journey, where he is, how he feels about, the NIL part of it, understanding that he's probably going to raise up some leaders on his team that's probably going to move on into minor pastures of some sort, and that replacement. Some people get upset by that. I think some high-level coaches get upset about it, but Chris Crutchfield, my brother, is embracing it. And so those are some of the things that we're going to talk about with him. Chris, how are you doing today, my friend?
I am doing good, E. Strick. How you doing, man? Thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, man. We love and we appreciate you being a part. You and I are both family. The weather is getting lovely, so you know what we got to do, my boy.
It's time to get out there.
Golf and cigars. You know what we do. But so here's the thing, Chris. You're at the University of Omaha. You had a vision. I actually sat down with Coach Crutchfield, and the crazy thing about it is Coach and I talked about, how would I feel about possibly even coaching there if it came down to it. But he didn't need my help because he's done a phenomenal job of amassing a great staff, great players. I'm always here. I told him stories about how I used to help y'all back in the day. You can't really do that these days, Crutch. Y'all used to bring players over to the house, and if it was a game or a party or backstage or any of that stuff, I used to help y'all in the recruiting process. They probably would call foul on that now, but now that you're in the position as head coach, leading a wonderful program right now, so much things on the upside for you guys. Like you lost a couple players, obviously, in the transfer portal. What's the process for you? What's the thinking process for you? How do you approach going into the season, knowing that the possibility of your development, of what you guys are doing with the players, your lead players, that there's a possibility of them leaving? And how do you go about the process of replacement? Because that's an important factor of being able to maintain the level where you guys are in the Summit.
Well, I think one of it is just having some awareness of what's going on around you. I think anytime you have a guy in your program at this level of Strick that's probably an all-league player or player of the year in your league and the first team all-conference player, and he has eligibility, somebody's going to be knocking on his door. And we kind of knew this about probably 1st of February. We knew we was going to be losing 2 guys. We didn't actually know, but we kind of knew. It's funny how this thing works because people from Power Conference are calling us about guys in our league. So right? I'm sure they're calling people in our league about our guys. So we kind of had the idea we was going to lose Markel Sutton and J.J. White. We knew mid-February. And, we've been recruiting all year long and trying to, having guys on call to replace those 2 guys. But until you really know when they come in your office at the end of the year and say, Coach, this is what's going to happen. But we had this conversation coming back from a game in Denver one night in the airport, and I set them all down and talked to them about, this is what's getting ready to happen, and we kind of embraced it, as you said, and now we using it as a recruiting tool. We got guys coming in this weekend, and we're talking to them about, hey, you come here and we're gonna give you a platform to rock out and do your thing, and if you do well, normally our team is going to do well, and somebody is going to come knocking, and we're okay with that. We're going to be a launching pad from Omaha to Power 4 conferences. We don't have a problem with that.
Let me ask you a question, Crutch. You've been in the game for a long time. You've seen it evolve in a lot of different ways. Now, as you're looking at it, would you say that the mid-majors now have, in a sense, become the JUCO, and then the JUCO, in a sense, maybe has shifted towards mid-major rankings and coming in and getting, because the recruitment now is Janet Jackson-y. Let me, what have you done for me lately? Let me see what you got. You know what I'm saying? Let me see how you measure up. Those are the things that it's kind of. Well, would you say it's kind of you're witnessing that shift, or is it we're not there yet?
No, it's absolutely true. And teams are trying to stay older. Teams want experienced players. That's what we're dealing with. And you're going to have a guy for 1 year at the Power 4 level that's been playing 3 to 4 years already in college somewhere, and that's what those guys want. You're seeing all these older rosters. You just watch Auburn play in the Final Four. They had an older roster. Man, I think their average age was 25. Mm-hmm. And you're seeing that a lot. And we're recruiting junior college kids, and the high Power 5 guys are recruiting mid-major plus kids. So, and that's what the trend is now, and I don't see it changing anytime soon.
Coach, Austin Norman here. Thanks a ton for taking the time to join us. You mentioned Markel and JJ, right? Two of your lead players. Getting contacted during the year, you kind of had that feeling. You've been through this before. You know what you sign up for. But for those two young men, right, mid-season attention, they're off to a hot start. They're playing well. For some young men, it could come, hard and fast. They could, get lost kind of in those conversations and lose focus on the team goals at hand. Mm-hmm. Speak about those young men, the focus that they brought to your team, to Omaha, to help you guys, continue your run through the Summit League to regular season and tournament champions, not getting distracted with all the other stuff on the table for them.
And you know what? We have won those 8-9 games in a row in the Summit League, and we kind of had an idea this was going to happen. Then we lost 2 on the road to South Dakota State and to St. Thomas. That's when the conversation started. And I told those guys, it doesn't really matter. People probably want you now, but if you don't finish out and you don't win, that could all change. Like, they're putting out fillers right now. They're talking to people. They saying, what about this kid? Can this kid play at this level? But if you don't finish strong, if your numbers don't stay the same, all those conversations are going to die. They will die down. And they was mentally tough enough to kind of block it all out and stay focused. And we kept them focused the whole time. And they end up finishing out and having a great year, and they're on to bigger and better things, and their bank accounts are going to be a lot bigger.
No doubt about it. You spoke about the loss to those two teams, North Dakota State and St. Thomas, and Nebraska has just acquired a young man by the name of Kendall Blue. Mm-hmm. You had the opportunity to face him, and he's part of that transition of coming through the ranks of the mid-major through the Summit, and now looking to make that leap. What's your thoughts about him as a player? What do you think about his upside? And how do what you think about Nebraska's getting of that young man, and could he be a major contributor potentially?
And that's the key word right there. You just said, Strick, can he be a major contributor? I don't know what their plan is, their purpose of bringing him in, if he's going to be a backup, if they're bringing him in to be a starter. But one thing about him, he is long. He's athletic. He does have skill of putting the ball on the floor and being able to create his own shot. Exceptional shooter. Not a great shooter, but he can shoot it okay to keep you honest from three. But he has length, he has athleticism. The thing that I think the obstacle that's going to be in his way is you're in the Big Ten. That's a very physical, tough league where people hit you, push you, hold you, grab you. He's going to have to pick up 10 to 15 pounds of strength over the summer to be able to survive in that league for 35 games.
Coach, when did you have the sense with your group this past season that it could be something special? Maybe you didn't know you're an NCAA tournament team right away, but when did you start to get a sense from your guys that, yeah, you could have some pretty big things in store this season?
Probably when we went on that winning streak. We won 8-9 in a row. And the way we did it, I kind of knew then if these guys can continue to get better, and I thought we could have a really, really special year. I didn't think we could win the conference outright. I had no idea we could do that, but we got off to such a great start. And it was us and St. Thomas, right, the whole year, right there, 1-2 the whole season, going back and forth. But once we won those 8 games in a row, I saw those guys' confidence just swell. And I saw them continue to. And we talked about our defense, and we were scoring a lot of points in league play, but we kept talking about defense. This was going to win the championship for you. And they all started buying in. It's amazing what winning does when you're watching film and you keep talking about one thing and you don't talk about the other stuff. You talk about rebounding and defending, and they just bought into it. We was a little bit different, though, Austin, than most teams in our league because we was long, we was athletic. We could switch 1 through 4. We could keep people neutralized on the perimeter. People had a hard time throwing the ball into the post. We had a guy that was 6'9", 260, and he could hold his own. We didn't have to double or dig on the post. So I think we just really made it hard for people to score against us, and we was able to score.
You don't have to.
Just one more kind of follow up on that too. You mentioned the 8-9 game winning streak. You guys really tested yourself in non-conference, right? I mean, games at Stetson, you got to get back on them. At Minnesota, had the Gophers dead to rights. I mean, UNLV, Akron, Northern Iowa, Iowa State. Not all those games went your guys' way, but how much did you guys learn? How much did you see your team's confidence grow, despite not winning, seeing that you were in some games against some really high-level competition?
You know what? I thought that was big for our team. I didn't think we would come out on the losing side on those games when we put that schedule together. We knew it was going to be tough because we put them on the road for the first 5 games, I think, in tough environments. But I kept telling our guys when we was 4-9, I kept telling them, guys, we got a good basketball team. Trust me. Just stay with it. Keep doing what you're doing. Let's learn. Let's cut down on some of these mistakes that we're making. We have a good basketball team. And it's not going to matter come January the 3rd what your record is when we start Summit League play. Everybody's going to be 0-0. And you know what? They bought into it. They bought in, and they kept believing. They kept their confidence up, even though we was 4-9 and just got our butt kicked by Northern Iowa and Iowa State. And we came back home to Cal Poly, and that's when it all started. It started a little bit right before Christmas, December 21st. The light went off, and we took off from there.
Crutch, maybe 1 or 2 questions left, man. We really wanted to do this because I definitely want to pub the University of Omaha for any local talent as well, because I can vouch for your abilities, your leadership, your love for the game and the players, all of that stuff, man. So I definitely, those who are listening, if you have a high talented guy that's kind of being overlooked, man, I would advise you to take a look at Chris Crutchfield's University of Omaha program, because it's definitely you're going to get quality teaching. But here's the thing, man. Nebraska's losing a player out of the transfer portal, high school player, Nick Janowski. He's heading out. We don't know what the situation is at this point. But here's the deal, though. The issue has been you need to not only recruit or jump in the transfer portal, but you know out of season, coming out of AAU, all that stuff. You have to recruit during the season. What's different for you than like a Big Ten program or SEC program? Because you do have to do some of that, but when do you turn your ire in the recruiting process? And lastly, how do you divine your recruiting? Is it by way of your style? Is it by the character? Is it by the archetype, or do you shift depending on the personnel? Because those are some of the things we've talked about here. There's different ways of going about it and how you bring people and talent to your program. How do you do that?
Well, good thing about it, Eric, this has been a 3-year process with us, as you know, and the culture has been set. It started in year 1, and we building up to year 2, and now we have a culture of winning, and we got people. We got a style of play that we're going to play both on the offensive end and the defensive end. So we're not going to negate that. We're not going to change that at all. Now we're at a point now we can knock on some different doors when you make it to the NCAA tournament. So we can actually go recruit the type of guys we want. That's character, the type of talent we want. And that's in a skill set that fit that particular position because we don't want to pull back from what we got from this year. And we want to be able to plug guys in at that position that we lost that are similar players. Yeah. And if we can continue to do that, then we're going to continue to compete for Summit League championships from here to come and have a chance to go to the NCAA tournament on a regular basis. Before Austin asks this question, that's why what you just said is why I put you in touch. I ain't going to put it out on the airways, but is why I put you in touch with who I put you in touch with for that specific reason. Yeah. You can find that you no doubt about it.
Okay, go ahead, my boy.
Coach, I did just have to ask, at any point in the last 3 years, did you think trash cans would become such a big part of the pitch for your program?
No idea. And that thing took off like a rocket, and we went with it, man. It got us some national attention. Our administration jumped on it and had a popcorn promotion, and it became the talk of college basketball, for a while. But I always tell people this: the trash can wasn't a factor if we wasn't winning basketball games. So we was able to celebrate because we won basketball games, and we got a little more creative, and we had some fun with it, Strick. And I tell people all the time, like, college basketball gets so serious,
right?
Just because of all the money and the attention that's brought to it. But hey, we had some fun, man, and we doubled down on that fun with the trash cans. And it was good for our program. It's good for the university to get that kind of national attention.
Again, Crutch, I love having you on, and I definitely want to continue to bring you back throughout this process. Not just because, you're the head coach at the University of Omaha, but because you're a good friend, and I want to see you continually succeed. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Much love, Strick. We know how we go.
No doubt about it, man. Shout out to Chris Crutchfield and his staff and his players there at the University of Omaha. What a wonderful job you're doing. The champions of the league, regular season outright, the champion of the tournament, getting into the NCAA tournament. And I ain't going to lie to you, I was actually rooting for you to be the first outside of Creighton to win in the national.
That's good to know. It's good to know. Thank you.
I'm going to put that into the atmosphere. Chris Crutchfield joined us here on the block. Thank you once again, Coach. We love you, man. We appreciate you, and we'll see you soon. And I'll see you soon. You know where we be. I'm right down the street.
Thank you, Strick. I'm ready, get ready to go hit it now. Let's go.
Yeah, there he is.
All right,
we'll get out of here. We'll come back and finish out the hour right after this. 93.7 The Ticket.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
This is Monster Jam. Big air, backflips, and all-out racing. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. The fun begins at the pit party, where you can meet the drivers, get autographs, take pictures, and see the trucks up close. Get your pit party pass at monsterjam.com today. Must have valid event ticket to enter pit party. Restrictions may apply. Rules and activities are subject to change. Visit website for event details. Coming to Pinnacle Bank Arena April 18th through 19th.
Spring has arrived, the temperatures are rising, and it's time to get your equipment ready for the season. Landmark Implement has high-quality used John Deere planters, sprayers, and tractors, priced to move and ready to work for you. Take advantage of unbeatable deals and flexible financing to upgrade your operation without stretching your budget. Stop by your local Landmark Implement or browse our full inventory online at landmarkimp.com. Before these deals are done, experience the Landmark difference.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's becoming a wild ride in the car market these days, but Koppel wants to let you know and assure you that we are staying the course with our usual pricing model. We've still got huge discounts and low interest rates, so let's get after it. We've got over $12,500 off list price or 0% APR right now on select new vehicles. New and pre-owned, our lots are full, so now's the time to buy. Please stop on in the dealership or check us out at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G187747. All deals with roof credit.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between, we'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies and it will be breezy. High around 74. Tonight, a slight chance of showers, otherwise partly cloudy skies, low near 44. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies and it will be breezy with a high near 69. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Make plans to stop by Corn Coast Brewing this Saturday, April 12th for their Ales Helping Tales event, partnered with Parkview Animal Hospital. This semi-annual fundraiser collects donations and sells raffle tickets to raise money for Vets Get Pets, a program in the Nebraska Department of Veteran Affairs that helps with adoption fees for veterans. A special beer will be brewed, and the first 100 customers who buy the beer will receive a special edition Stadium Cup. That's all this Saturday at Corn Coast Brewing at 14th and Yankee Hill.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play. That's right. The game is back. As is Jay Foreman. Welcome back, Jay.
What's poppin', man? What's
You
happening?
on the shootout here. I was going to make Strick do it since you'd been gone, but Strick brought up a great point. You've been gone, so you got to hop right back in the hot seat.
That's all right. I'm cool. Yeah. All right, I'm cool. I'm good with it.
Okay. You cool, calm, and collected?
Yeah, it's Masters Week, so I know something will go. Right?
It's true. It is.
See?
But
it's a
not
beautiful day out,
Masters
too, so you might shine, my boy.
Masters didn't start today, though. Just the par 3.
That's fine.
We may or may not have Masters tomorrow. Stay tuned. But,
well, then that's what I should be doing.
Well, too late. You're playing
all
today.
Right, let's go then.
Don't forget, you have Strick as the lifeline for one question.
Excellent.
Dave on our Honda of Lincoln hotline. Dave, how are you?
I'm okay.
Good deal. You also have Eric Strickland for one lifeline, if you would like it. So we will give Jay his questions first.
So funny,
Dave, we will get to you after that. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Jay Foreman, back in the hot seat. Your round of the shootout starts here in 3, 2, and 1. He leads the NBA in points per game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Nikola Jokic?
Dang, Shai Gilgeous.
It is. He leads the Eastern Conference in rebounds per game. Karl Anthony Towns or Evan Mobley?
Mobley.
It's Towns. He leads the NBA in blocks per game. Walker Kessler or Miles Turner?
I'm just Kessler.
It is Kessler.
Yes.
And he scored the most points in a single NBA game so far this season.
Joker.
Joker?
Yeah.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
He nailed it. All right.
Because I was just that game.
We just saw that.
Yeah.
He went
Against
bucket wild.
Was it Lakers?
Timberwolves.
That's right.
A double OT game.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
Yeah, because they got some heat up there in Minneapolis because of that game.
They did.
That was right when Ant-Man was.
And they just blew another one last
The boy
night.
got fired.
All right. That is a 4-point round for Jay Foreman.
Right
Straight off the
rip.
plane.
That's how I do that.
That's how
Look at
you
him go.
do. You shine, my boy.
Yeah.
Dave, 4 to tie. Perfect round to win.
You got this, Dave.
You ready, Dave?
How many lifelines do I get?
All right. Your round starts here in 3, 2, and 1. He leads the Eastern Conference in points per game. Giannis Antetokounmpo or Jason Tatum?
The first one.
Yep, it is Giannis. He leads the NBA in rebounds per game. Domantas Sabonis or Nikola Jokic?
Jokic.
It's Sabonis. He leads the NBA in assists per game. Nikola Jokic or Trae Young?
Trey Jokic.
It is not Jokic, and he scored 30 or more points in the most NBA games this season.
Oh, I'll have to let Strick handle this one.
Stricky?
Shai Gillis.
It is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Unfortunately, Dave, you end up just 1 point short of the victory. Jay Foreman gets the music. Dave, thanks for playing. Try again soon.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Stricky won! Yeah! Strick really get the dub!
How many questions did you answer?
Stricky answered all the questions, baby, in the spirit.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we do have one more question to go since Jay and apparently Strick won.
Yeah.
Jay has to answer the tiebreaker question. Text line. You will go over, under, or push Jay's answer to this question. Stricky, number between 1 and 10, please.
You know what it is.
Probably.
7!
Okay. Texter number 7. With the right answer, over, under, or push will win $30 to Wings and Rings. Jay, how many times this season has Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 30 or more points?
14.
Dang.
Jay says 14. How many times
That's
has Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 30 or more points this season? Jay says 14. Over, under, or push his answer. We'll give you the right answer, get into some more NBA headlines.
Well,
The
why do I
playoff
have to
picture
say 1 through
is
10?
being set because that's the texture number that's going to get the Strick in.
Oh.
My boy.
Strick,
We
you
know
need to
how this
listen.
works.
You need to listen.
You've been playing this
Mama
game
needs
longer
some
than
new
Jay has.
shoes. Baby needs some clothes. Oh. I don't
Over,
have one. Mine
under,
grown.
push, 14 30-point games for SGA. You get the answer, get the Strick and giving away, get some more NBA talk and a Husker baseball conversation with Evan Blaine in hour 2 of the show.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Make plans to stop by Corn Coast Brewing this Saturday, April 12th for their Ales Helping Tales event, partnered with Parkview Animal Hospital. This semi-annual fundraiser collects donations and sells raffle tickets to raise money for Vets Get Pets, a program in the Nebraska Department of Veteran Affairs that helps with adoption fees for veterans. A special beer will be brewed, and the first 100 customers who buy the beer will receive a special edition Stadium Cup. That's all this Saturday at Corn Coast Brewing at 14th and Yankee Hill.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best they can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. Tailored Landscapes is on the brink of spring cleanups for all their existing customers, and they have limited spots available. They trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give Tailored Landscapes a call at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of their designers and stop by the Tailored Life store in Bennett.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Make sure you tune in every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. for all things youth football with Tank Perry and Jim Sandman. Learn how the game of youth football has grown in and around the capital city with coaches, athletic directors, and league commissioners telling you all about it. It's all things youth football with Tank Perry and Jim Sandman every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Buckle up and hang on. This is going to be a good one.
The fans of Kansas Speedway know how to have a good time. One that celebrates fantastic finishes.
Crash together. So close.
And family-friendly facilities. Trading paint.
We got feuding.
And tailgating tradition. Burnouts. Beer. And barbecue. Oh, it'll for sure be a good time. And you are all invited. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 9th through the 11th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Welcome to it, hour 2 of the show here on a Wednesday. Lots to get to. Starting in basketball, we'll move to Husker baseball and football here in just a little bit. But first, we got the $30 in Buffalo Wings and Rings to give away. The question, was how many times this season has Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the Oklahoma City Thunder, the NBA's leading scorer, dropped 30 points in a game? Jay, your answer was?
14.
Jay said 14. On the text line, MT Westy said, sorry, Jay, but that was an awful line. He'd be correct.
But you should be happy. I made it easy.
Try tripling and a half. 49 times.
But I made it easy.
SGA has scored 30 points in the NBA.
That's why I did it, so you could do triple and a half. You should be happy. I made it an easy answer for you.
Yeah.
So Chad and Seward,
man.
Chad and Seward, you get the $30 to Buffalo Wings and rings. Stricky, put that in context for us. 30 games,
bruh,
or 49 games with 30 points,
bruh. Over half of your season's games, you get money like that. Yeah, bruh. Yeah, you doing something. That's every night you show up. Dang near 30-piece chicken wing and a biscuit.
And a biscuit.
From Buffalo Wings and Rings.
68th and 40th and Old Cheney. Check him out.
That part.
Helping lead the Oklahoma City Thunder to the clinched number 1 seed in the West. We've talked a little bit about them. I want to definitely keep talking about them as we get closer to the end of their dominant regular season. But Stricky, I want to give you a chance
too, though.
Yeah,
throughout the whole. Yeah.
We'll get there once they wrap it up, because they're very close to the most dominant regular season of all time. If they beat their next 3 opponents by 15 or more points, they officially have the best regular season point differential in NBA history. But Stricky, I'm going to give you a sec here. You were on the Rockets. You've been on the Rockets in Ime Udoka. Houston has clinched the number 2 seed in the West.
I told you. Listen, I was impressed with that man. The only thing and the only mistake he made was going upstairs and having what's her name? Silky Red, whatever her name is. She got a song out. That's the only mistake he made. There's something not Snoop Dogg and the Dog Pound. It's something like that. But nonetheless, bro, he went in and had the mistake, was left out to dry for a few years, and the Rockets were on point because he is a good coach. And really, I knew they had the talent, but for them, Jay, it was straight AAU ball.
Yeah.
With a young coach. What was it? Was it Bickerstaff? Who was the coach? Was it
Bickerstaff was in Cleveland
Memphis.
for a while.
No.
In Memphis as well.
Who was the coach before?
It was Silas. Steven Silas.
Okay, Silas.
Steven Silas.
Just too close in relation. Really didn't know how. But he has pedigree. He has, he come from a great coaching tree. He knows his stuff. It was just a matter of getting those guys in order. Rockets, man, they look good, and they get after you defensively. They drafted well.
Mm-hmm.
They play a good style of ball. You've got a great center in Sengun. You've got great guard play. Shout out to them, man. They've been consistent. I didn't know if they would be a roller coaster, but they've been consistent.
Yeah, I mean, the Rockets they're dangerous.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's easy pickings though for teams like Golden State and the Lakers.
You think?
Yep. Because you got to play because they can dissect you with the inexperience through 7 games in a series.
I think they play good enough D. So I hear you, but this is where if you're speaking of, I think stylistically, I agree with you for Golden State. The issue for me is I think they're long enough, physical enough, and collectively, defensively, they play well enough where on the contrast, I don't know if the Lakers will play D.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the only problem. Yeah. Not look, I think offensively, they do give, but I think over the whole of a 7-game series, I would rely more on their defense, their ability to turn over, which the Lakers are willing to do. They give that ball up. And if they get out on the floor, Lakers don't really play D.
Yeah.
So that's where that would be a thing for me. And do they have somebody who can contain Sengun? Without Davis there, you how do you match up there? I would take my bet against Sengun against Hachimura.
Yes.
Anybody they throw at me over there, now they'll probably have to play LeBron on him, but will LeBron want to bang and do that for 7 games against Sengun? I don't know.
Well,
so
it's either
that's
that or
the thing.
chase
We'll
guys
see.
around the perimeter.
Huh?
It's either that or chase guys around the perimeter.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know. I think I'm looking, but here's the thing. They're both on the same side of the bracket. Except
for now.
Except that the Lakers, who have a tough road, and here's why I say that. They got to still play OKC on the road.
Yeah, but did you just see what they did to them?
Look, going into OKC.
And how invested is OKC with the 1 seed
This is
wrapped
the
up?
time of the year that he starts giving you guys Christmas presents. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Here he comes. LeBron James.
I'm just going to leave it there. I ain't going to say nothing else.
So
they got to face Dallas, Houston. They got 3 tough ones.
Mm-hmm. So Dallas is in playoff
that.
position. Here's the thing, though. 3 through 8 is not set. 3 through 8 will be these 6 teams in some order. Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Warriors, Grizzlies, Timberwolves. 2 of those teams will host in the first round. 2 of them will go on the road in the first round. 2 of them have to fight their way in the play-in.
I think the Lakers.
With 3 games to go in the regular season, you got 6 spots still up for grabs.
Yeah, I think Golden State has the best chance to emerge. Because here's right now, if everything stays the way it is, if I'm the Lakers, I don't know if I want to play Golden State first.
No.
I'm just saying. I would much rather play the Timberwolves,
the Clippers,
or the Clippers. I wouldn't want to play Golden State first. That's just being real.
Jay wants that smoke, though. He's got that look in his eyes.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, because first of all, I ain't playing. So I get to watch. This is great. I mean,
couch potato.
I just think. Listen, man.
You think the Lakers are going all the way?
No, I don't. I just know I've seen it so many times, and you must have nightmares. This is no different than when you dealing with MJ. He can't be stopped. And then you got Luka with him. Like all that stuff that Houston tries to do, all that tough guy stuff, that don't work against real dudes. That ain't working. That's fake stuff. I like Ime Udoka, whatever his name is, whatever his name is, Ime or whatever. I just call him a simp because he dropped the bag with what's her face?
Nia Long.
Yeah, I mean, right there you got discrepancies anyways. Now you trying to bow up against Steph Curry? You better hope you don't get Steph Curry. He's going to get 60 on you in the playoffs. Don't let the light skin fool you. I can promise you right now, that revenge game that Golden State do when they get against them dudes is going to be epic.
Against Houston?
Against Houston.
Well, right now they wouldn't face him.
But I'm
against
saying,
who?
It's coming. It might not be in 25.
Yeah.
It might be in 26.
They're on the same side right now. If things stay the same way it is, they'd be on the same side.
The get back is going to be for real. Now, the only thing that worries me really is, like, I like the way Houston has constructed their roster because they got Young and then they got Van Fleet and they got Knucklehead, wannabe Draymond, and then they got, Jabari Smith and one of the twins. What's his name?
Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas. And so I like all that stuff. I actually, in a lot of ways, like them a little bit better than OKC.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Not. I'm talking about just like the construction of their roster because you can play multiple things. Look,
so can Oklahoma City.
No, they can't.
They spent 10 years getting to this point. They have the longest, deepest, most versatile roster in the league.
Every single time they duke you right down their legs.
And Houston doesn't.
You haven't seen it yet. They don't know nothing yet.
OKC's been playoffs once.
Yeah, and what happened last year? They were the number one
Their first
seed.
time. Every time is one time now?
Yeah. Because the way they lost, though. You're not understanding the way you lose when you're the number one seed. That sets.
Well, you know what they did? They went and got Hartenstein. He ties them together. Figured out the way they lost.
Are you serious right now?
I'm believing in OKC.
No, I'm
serious.
I'll give Hartenstein a little bit.
Serious?
Get a little bit of credit, just because of his bloodline. Just because he got the most unique story of all time. I give him he got a little swag with him.
A little something to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I just don't like there's something about OKC and the playoffs because what you're seeing right now is totally different basketball than what you're going to see. It comes down to possessions.
Mm-hmm.
So OKC, with the way, Shea is getting his points, that's going to be nullified. Not only just by the defensive rotations, but a lack of possessions. So now you think of my options. I like the options that Houston got. This just on their surface. I don't think either of them are going to do anything because they ain't veterans. Because
the thing that scares me about OKC is that teams shoot so poorly from three against them. And in any game or a 7-game series, team gets hot from three, they can be out. I'm not worried about OKC's offense. Shea's a tough bucket getter, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Jalen Williams can do it.
That's it. Do you really?
I like Jalen Williams.
You like Jalen Williams better than anybody in Houston? Than Green? You like him better than Green?
I don't trust Green.
You don't trust Green?
I trust Williams a lot more than I trust Green.
Green getting out.
It's Şengün and it's Van Vliet are the top two for Houston.
Getting those collard greens and cooked at home. He's gonna be cooking come to playoff time. Now it's gonna be every third game, but he's what
you
he's
can't
gonna
afford
do.
every third game in the playoffs.
Yeah, it is because you got Jamari Smith and all them. I'm rolling with H-Town.
The other team.
Do you think Chet Holmgren, real quick? Do you think Chet Holmgren, now finally probably starting to get into time and shape, makes a difference similar to like what Porzingis did with Boston?
No.
Chet,
if the big matchup was earlier in the year and he just isn't right, you're going to see the best Chet next year. But also, I think the team has grown since he's been hurt, and that's the bigger problem. Whereas I think Porzingis kind of fit in just because he knew how to fit in. He's been everywhere. So he kind of knows, all right, I'm just coming in. I got to get in where I fit in. And then he gave him a couple games, and they were able to gut it out. Chet's still trying to get his. He's still trying to be the Batman or the Robin to the Batman or whatever. Well, now guys are emerging. Now he's got that anxiety of like he don't know where he's at right now.
Interesting.
Okay, what I'm saying?
Speaking of Porzingis, out east, Boston clinches the Cleveland Cavaliers from a playoff berth last year to the number 1 overall seed in the East. So 1 and 2 are set. 3 is down to the Knicks and the Pacers. 4 could be Knicks, Pacers, or Bucks. 5 could be Pacers, Bucks, or Pistons. Bucks could be number 6 could be Bucks or Pistons. Anyone in the mid-tier of the East stand out to you in a way like it did in the West? Like Jay was saying, Los Angeles, Strick, you were saying Golden State. Anyone give you those vibes in the East?
Top tier in the East for me, yeah. Mid-tier, I'm still not sold on Indiana. You don't know what Orlando Magic team shows up. Milwaukee is very shaky. And
They've
Detroit,
been hot.
Huh?
Milwaukee's been hot, but are they shooting the load?
Shaky. But you just don't know what Detroit's going to get.
First
but
playoff appearance in a
so for
long
me,
time.
They just gonna fight.
Right. The dangers are going to be the top 3. The dangers.
Oh boy, Isaiah Stewart or whatever his name. He just want to see.
He just want to buck. He just want to buck.
Right. But before I get to the East, though, I'm gonna tell you this. Your boy, Mr. No Callback. If Kawhi is healthy, that's the most dangerous team in the West.
Oh, you're talking about the Clippers?
Yeah. Before I get there. Now, with Kawhi, if he's healthy and motivated, with Mr. No Callback, T-Lou. That's really take the Lakers out of it, though. I mean, to be honest with you, if there's a team that I think can rise up, I'd probably say Golden State and the Clippers before the Lakers. I think the Lakers just don't got enough size.
I like where you're talking.
But I like the Clippers if they're healthy and minds are right. James Harden ain't going
that
down.
Part.
Yeah.
That's where I was about to go. I just
James
playoff disappeared James.
Well,
Harden.
Because James Harden, if they play in a city that he likes to go out and hang out, you know that he's horrible.
Right.
He's just horrible.
Right.
My man had when they lost to Golden State, he went to like a concert and went and tried to record something. Bro, you
got mopped up.
And then you out there talking about your hamstring tight. Yeah, you dehydrated.
You don't say.
Now back to the East.
Hum.
I don't think anybody besides the top 2 are going to do anything.
In the East, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana.
Maybe top 3. No, Indiana, no.
No.
I'm not feeling.
Orlando, I think if they somehow get a little bit of OKC and Houston, that mix, and which is kind of you can get on a run, and they're dangerous at home, but they're on the road you don't really trust them. And then I like what Detroit's doing, but it's just I like Detroit. Detroit did down to scrap anytime, anywhere, any place. But there's just that they need a little bit more firepower. But I think this is a big year. I think you look at Cleveland and OKC as the same. A lot to prove as number one seeds. Yeah, they do, because there's a lot of questions, because the disappointment for Cleveland last year in Spider Mitchell, now they seem like they're a little bit better. I like Atkinson. I like the way he coaches and what they do on offense.
Neither one of you buying the Knicks after last year's heartbreaking loss to the Celtics. You're out on the Knicks?
Karl Anthony Towns. Negative. Even negative.
Tricky, can I convince you to join me on Knicks Island potentially?
That's why I said top 3. I said I said if anybody, but he's seen, what Cat looks like being from Minnesota. But if he doesn't show up, there's no way.
Can Giannis take over 2 straight 7-game series and lead Milwaukee?
That's where I fall short. They don't have enough depth. I think they're going to lose Giannis, unfortunately, after this next stretch.
More likely to be traded.
Yeah.
Giannis or Jokic?
Giannis. I'm
Which
sorry.
one? That didn't help, Tricky. That didn't help. Giannis. Jokic.
Giannis. I think Giannis is more apt to go than Jokic. I think it's going to depend on, 1, who they bring in to coach. 2, the sit down with whoever the new GM is. What do you plan on doing with this? And we look at Jokic as a carefree guy, obviously, and the way that he handles business and moves, and but he wants to win, and so he's probably going to need them to lay out the plan. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate when you have schism amongst the GM as well as the coach. So Denver getting that straightened out. What's important is what's next. And it's kind of weird that this happens right before the playoff. Is there enough synchronicity in with the staff who's moving up and stepping up to get things done? Does it become a distraction? There's just things you have to kind of monitor to make sure that doesn't happen.
Would you rather build around Jokic or Giannis?
Jokic for me.
Jay?
Ooh. At this point, man, it's hard to pass up Giannis. But
I hear you.
I think the thing about Jokic, I think I would reluctantly probably say Giannis. Jokic is he's one of the greatest. He's going to go down one of the greatest of all time. But it's also
not even Eric Strickland can deny him anymore.
I can't deny it.
But it's also in conjunction with the coach they just fired. This is replication of Mark Jackson and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Without Mark Jackson, seeing what the possibilities were with those two,
you don't have the dynasty.
You don't have the dynasty without that pair in Denver, along with Jamal Murray, but really with that pair, you don't get this Jokic. You had to be open. So then it's like, okay, if you're going to start it, then who's the next that kind of has that vision? And then we'll have the support upstairs to surround it. Whereas like Giannis, 6'11", 6'10", drive and dive and dunk, you could just go anywhere and do that. To start a franchise. It's easier to start with Giannis in theory, but Jokic is hard to pass. Because Jokic could play like that until he's 50.
Right?
Jokic gives you more options, but there are so few guys like him that it's hard to know what he is unless you're around him.
Right.
Giannis is probably a little more plug and play, right? You know how to build a team around him. Space the floor, bring him a good pick and roll partner, let him clean up weak side, right? He can be the help side defender, get a center that can defend the rim and shoot from 3.
I would have loved to have seen him and Chris Paul together.
Oh boy. Never forget how close we were to Chris Paul and Anthony Davis together. Young AD.
I would have loved to have seen that. That would have made my day watching that. You talk about
once you didn't
City.
have to guard that.
If you have that, you probably keep Malik Beasley. If you're them, because he's going to be standing there waiting on jumpers
all day,
and bang, bang, bang.
Would you rather build around Jokic or Luka?
I'm still going to say Jokic.
How different are they?
I just trust Jokic a little bit more.
They
a little tougher.
well said, Jay. That's I in a way of me.
But it's hard to bang on.
It's hard
because he did some things last year that he never done before. I think he got a bad rap too.
Yeah,
now, I think that just with him being out in front of when you're on defense and just let a guy just all right, man, good. Then I'm gonna come back. That looks worse than Jokic gets beat a lot of too on defense.
They figured out a way to hide him.
But they hide it.
They
But you can hide him when you have a true stopper in Gordon.
Yeah.
And
when they had KCP back in the day.
KCP and Porter.
That was a big loss for them.
And Porter. And then you had back then Bruce Brown and Jeff
Brown.
Green and all that. I mean, so you had four. I mean, you could just let him freelance and then he's a point forward. I'd probably say Jokic.
I'm taking Luka.
No,
you can't just say that. I need you to tell me where you get that from.
The man was a EuroLeague MVP at 18. Maybe he's a little heavy. Maybe he's a little out of shape. Maybe he indulges a little bit too much. I'm taking Luka.
Well, if you go advanced stats, whose usage?
Luka is just about to enter his prime. He's just about to hit his athletic prime, which maybe athletically is not going to be great, but he's still young enough. There might still be upside in Luka. Jokic is at the peak of the game right now. Over the next 5 years, it's probably close. But if I'm starting a franchise, I'm taking the 18-year-old that won EuroLeague MVP that's just about to reach his prime in his 8th year in the NBA.
Okay.
That's my rationale.
402-464-5685. What y'all say?
I can see it, though, with Luka.
What they saying on the text line?
Text line saying Paulo Banchero, which do love me some P5.
Hey.
Big Paulo Banchero guy here. He's coming.
We won't even talk about your Dookies, though.
We got that out of the way while you were conveniently gone. So you missed your chance, my boy.
Oh, no.
I'm on to the Boozer twins right now.
You are?
I'm on to Cam Boozer. And I have some Duke stats that lead me to believe that they are winning the 25-26 national championship. But we got a conversation with Evan Blanda of the Omaha World Herald.
No, pause.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's becoming a wild ride in the car market these days, but Koppel wants to let you know and assure you that we are staying the course with our usual pricing model. We've still got huge discounts and low interest rates, so let's get after it. We've got over $12,500 off list price or 0% APR right now on select new vehicles. New and pre-owned, our lots are full, so now's the time to buy. Please stop on in the dealership or check us out at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G187747. All deals with roof credit.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies and it will be breezy. Afternoon high around 74. Tonight, a slight chance of showers, otherwise partly cloudy skies, low near 44. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies, and it will be breezy with the high near 69. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best they can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. Tailored Landscapes is on the brink of spring cleanups for all their existing customers, and they have limited spots available. They trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give Tailored Landscapes a call at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of their designers and stop by the Tailored Life store in Bennett.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Buckle up and hang on. This is going to be a good one.
The fans of Kansas Speedway know how to have a good time. One that celebrates fantastic finishes.
Crash together. So close.
And family-friendly facilities. Trading paint.
We got feuding.
And tailgating tradition. Burnouts. Beer. And barbecue. Oh, it'll for sure be a good time. And you are all invited. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 9th through the 11th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
We're back here on the block. Norman, Jay Foreman, Eric Strickland with you. Joined on our VIP line, brought to you by Aloe Fiber, by Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Evan, I need to thank you for some great advice. You told me not to hit on 16 at the blackjack table. I did not, and it worked out. So thank you very much, good sir.
You got it. Yeah, I don't know how active you were out there, but that's just good sound advice, and hopefully you made a little bit of money.
I did not. I was not very active. I was not willing to risk it for the biscuit, as they say. I kept it pretty tame in Vegas, all things considered. It is good to be back home, and apparently I need to stay in Vegas. If Husker baseball starts losing again, I give Will Bolt the right to ship me right back out to Vegas. Last couple weeks have been pretty darn good for the Huskers. I didn't get a chance to talk to you about the Oregon State series. Fill me in on what you saw from the Huskers and taking 2 out of 3 from the top 5 Beavs.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it was what a way to win your first weekend of the year against a top 5 opponent the way that they did. Man, they've had so many games since then. That was you kind of like to think maybe that was a turning point or a launching point for what it's been. Of course, they followed up with a couple disappointing midweek results against in-state teams. But I think, if Nebraska ends up making a push and getting to where maybe it hopes it can be, I do think you look at that Oregon State series as one of the turning points when Nebraska finally could say, hey, here's some proof of concept. We can beat some of these national powers, some of these teams that are in the mix to be hosting regionals here in the coming months. So I think the offense it finally broke through a little bit. The bullpen showed it could come up in clutch spots. And, I think with some of the issues that Nebraska pitching continues to work through, the thing that's going to save it is the bats heating up and hitting a little bit closer to their potential. And I think we started to see that against the Beavers, and really it's carried over here the last couple weeks since then too.
And really 14 runs in those 2 midweek games you would think would be enough for Nebraska to win quite a bit, but they lose 9-5 to Creighton and then 11-9 to Omaha. Let's stick on the offense. What's maybe been clicking a little bit better for the Huskers since that Oregon State series?
Well, the team kind of points to being able to get home and have a few practices after that long West Coast trip. That was sort of a resetting point. Coaches and players met alone. I think they refocused on being aggressive, but you can see the strikeouts have really cut down after they've returned. They've been putting a lot more balls in play. As they like to say, the slug has improved, so you're seeing some more quick offense with home runs and extra base hits. I think some individual players who Nebraska was high on, who had strong off seasons, are starting to come around. I mean, Max Butenbach, he's hitting above 500 here in the last couple weeks or so, and was a big reason they were able to beat Kansas last night. Case Sanderson's come on a little bit. Dylan Carey's been warm. Ty Stone has been back to his all Big Ten ways from last year with some quick offense and power. So, we've talked about it before, how Nebraska baseball history says when the temperature heats up, the bats tend to do the same. I think we're starting to get to that point, and if that offense can stay hot, now they're going to be welcoming back Tucker Timmerman as one of their better relief arms this weekend. It's starting to come together a little bit for him. You'd still like to see maybe another arm or two emerge from the bullpen and for the starting rotation to give you a little bit more length. But I think the offense, if it can start to, or continue really to do what it's done the last couple of weeks, Nebraska's going to be in a lot more games than they were early in the season.
Then Nebraska takes a Big Ten weekend against Rutgers here at home. And then another impressive win in the non-conference just last night, Evan. Huskers go down the road to Kansas and take down a surprisingly good Kansas team. That's the number 22 team in the country. Huskers got up. Kansas fought back to tie it. Nebraska took the lead again. What stood out to you from the Huskers win over Kansas and Lawrence last night?
Yeah, it's a sneaky big deal. Really as big of a deal as beating Oregon State at home or Vanderbilt on a neutral site. You go on the road, beat a top 25 team. That one win by itself boosted them about 22 spots in the RPI. So they're back into the mid 70s. That's a big deal. You talk about where you need to be in mid-May or at the end of May for NCAA at large discussion. If you're inside the top 50, you're watching that thing and you're in play. So that was a big opportunity for them. They're going to have a series of other ones coming up. But I think, maybe the most encouraging part about that game last night was that Nebraska did not play a perfect game. They had 10 different pitchers, went in that game. They issued 9 walks, which is not a good number. They were able to wiggle around that. The offense did enough. Max Butenbach had a big night, a couple doubles, 3 RBIs, and they were clutch when they needed to be. They were error-free, which is a welcome sign after a little bit of a rough weekend against Rutgers. So I think that's always the encouraging thing. If you can get a result like that and you're not firing on all cylinders, then I think it shows that you have a little bit of something there. So they pretty much emptied their bullpen here these last couple weeks. They've had to cover a lot of innings with some shorter starts from their starting pitching. And now they're able to reset here again. But there's no doubt you drive down to Lawrence, you pick up a win like that, you get home late on a Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. Having that positive result is going to be a big deal as they go to Iowa this weekend.
When you look at that bullpen for Nebraska, let's start with maybe the downside of things. Who are some of the guys that you thought or the coaching staff thought were going to play a big role for that bullpen that maybe haven't taken that step forward to this point this season?
Yeah, to this point, I think you'd have to look at Jalen Worthley as one of those guys. He had a great off season and fall. You could see it coming together, but just the surface numbers. You've got an ERA of more than 7, and a few more walks maybe than he was hoping to. He's been a little more hittable than he has been. I think you look at Carson Yassa in relief. He's somebody who I still think long term has a really high ceiling, mid-90s fastball, big kid, but the command just hasn't always been there. TJ Coates as a reliever / midweek starter hasn't been able to give them the kind of length that I think they thought that they'd get coming into the season based on what he showed in the fall. I think some of the freshmen you probably can't be too critical of, they're thrown in the fire. Another name I'd throw out maybe is Grant Clevenger. He was kind of penciled in as a major high leverage arm for them. It hasn't really turned out that way, though. He had a huge moment against Kansas last night when he got a strikeout with the bases loaded. That was maybe a turning point in that game. So, a few of these guys, again, who had really good off-season numbers, strong metrics in the fall, and it just to this point hasn't translated over yet.
How much of the Drew Christo plan or career timeline is Carson Yassa following to this point?
Yeah, if Carson Yassa were an in-state kid with a really high recruit ranking, then yeah, there's probably some similarities there. All the talent in the world, good intangibles, swing and miss stuff. You just didn't always know where that ball was going. And, I think the upside for him is still so high because if he can harness that, he's got a big frame, a ton of velocity. His stuff has movement on it. Like, that's a guy who can be an anchor of the rotation. You just have to have that command. So I think that continues to be a project for pitching coach Rob Childress, who really emphasizes repeatability on delivery and mentally just being able to throw strikes and make batters get themselves out. I think that's all part of that thing. So yeah, I mean, if Yasa can continue to develop and start contributing in ways that Drew Christo has at some point, I think Nebraska would be thrilled with that, and the results would be pretty good, I think.
The guy at the back end of the bullpen, before we move on to some Husker football, Luke Broderick, your impressions of him so far, has he been what you thought he would be?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's really that first guy since maybe Spencer Schwellenbach, who you just feel like you can give the ball to him in the ninth, regardless of matchup and situation, and he's probably going to come through for you. Like, you feel good about that. And, Nebraska's rotated closers the last few years. And so Broderick's a guy who's been a starter at the junior college level. Now he's that stopper on the back end. His slider is kind of that pitch that befuddles hitters and draws a lot of weak contact. You can generally count on him to throw strikes and to not beat himself with free passes and things like that. I think there was a point, even in the last few weeks when Nebraska's gone through its struggles with starting pitchers, that maybe you even look at a guy like that and say, hey, what could he give you as a starter? Could he go 5 innings and give you a quality look on the weekend on the front end to give you that lead? But he's just been so valuable as that 9th inning guy for Nebraska. I think he's up to 6 or 7 saves now at this point. Like, you're in so many close games, you feel good about maybe shortening that thing to an 8-inning game if you feel like Broderick can handle the 9th.
We're talking with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. He joins us on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Evan, I'm not going to lie. I've been a little checked out on Husker football. It's been basketball season. It's been baseball season. I got to get into spring football mode pretty quick here. On the offensive side of the ball, what are the top 2 or 3 things that you've been monitoring so far through spring practice?
I think it's been interesting to watch how this offense continues to become Dana Holgerson's. And I don't mean that in terms of scheme and air raid and things like that, but like, he's the guy who's in control of it. I mean, we had a little open session of practice on Tuesday, and he's literally on the field as sort of a defensive back, just watching these routes materialize around him. And he's the one offering technical pointers and encouragement and kind of when to move on to the next drill. I think it's the running start that he got in November when he sort of parachuted in and had those bowl practices in the winter have really allowed Nebraska to continue to build on that this spring as opposed to starting over. So I think that's been interesting. I've been trying to think what I feel like the strength of this team is right now, and it might be the offensive line. I mean, you watch those guys work out on their own. That's very much Donovan Raiola's unit as a guy who's been with the program now for going on 4 seasons. There's depth there, even with some of the injuries to guys like Teddy Prohaska and Turner Corcoran and Gunnar Gatula, Henry Lutovsky. Like, they still have a lot of quality options to work through. So I think those guys have caught my attention as looking really good. And I think that line has the potential to be one of Nebraska's better ones in a few years.
Defensively, in open practices, any guys that have stood out to you from what you've seen?
I guess my eye keeps going to the defensive line to see what that group looks like moving on from all of its starters from last year. I think Riley Van Poppel continues to look really good as someone who's going to be a mainstay in the front. Elijah Judy really, I think, rebuilt his body in the last few months. He looks just strong, toughly built kid, newly married, older in terms of on the roster. So that's somebody I think can take that next step. Cam Lenhart has been a leader in drills and somebody who's pretty experienced too. Keanu Davis is intriguing as a rotational player, young guy, and Williams Winery, the former 5-star who transfers in from Missouri in the offseason. Like, you can see how he has been so highly ranked as a prospect. I think he's got some refining to do in terms of technique and scheme and such, but like he's another guy when you talk about like molding clay, like that's some high grade material that they've got in Williams Winery too. So I just think that position group, even though there are going to be so many guys in new roles next year, it's been fascinating to see how they've come along physically in the offseason and what that group's going to look like into the fall.
And a lot of those guys stuck around despite a new position coach. What have you made of those interactions between coach and players, and how big an impact that was on them deciding to stick around instead of hit the portal?
Yeah, with D-line specifically, I mean,
yes.
Yeah, Terry Braden, he's he's a teacher. Like, you can tell he's out there offering encouragement and technical pointers. Like, he's not letting subpar reps slide. Like, he's going to give guys correction, and he's somebody who obviously has a lot of cachet too, right? I mean, he can say, I've been with the Chiefs the last 8 years. Look at what some of those guys have done. Look what kind of team success they've had. So he comes in still as a relatively young assistant, I think, coming in at a time when he's sort of growing with this new group. So it's not like there are a lot of veterans having to sort of relearn things in their last year. It's largely a younger group that I think has been willing to embrace what he's done. And then in the chances that I've had to interact with him and seen him interact with players, he's somebody with a big personality too, who I think, that's a guy very much suited to coach defensive line, just in terms of how enthusiastic and kind of loud and how much fun he has while he's doing it.
Speaking of enthusiasm, being loud, having fun, is the Mike Eckler effect tangible so far?
Yeah, I mean, he's out there. He's a human cappuccino for sure in the morning, bouncing around, offering pointers. I will say too, his assistant Josh Martin, who was the tight ends coach a couple of years ago, who fell back into a special teams analyst role. Like, he's another guy out there who was a former high school teacher who very much looks and sounds the part too. So, I mean, I think when you talk about Nebraska renovating its special teams, starting over with a coordinator in Eckler who had a ton of success at Tennessee in the return game and in different areas, and you pair that with a guy like Martin, who's been working with some of the younger guys too. I think it's impressive to watch in the portions of practice I've been able to see. Those guys are articulate, they're detailed, they're passionate. You can tell they care about these guys. That'll continue to be a phase of the game that's going to be fascinating to see how that translates over here come September and beyond too.
That's Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald with us here on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Make sure you give Evan a follow on Twitter, subscribe to the World Herald, all that good stuff. For his coverage of Nebraska spring football, and of course, Huskers crossing the river to take on Iowa in the weekend series in Big Ten baseball this weekend. Evan, appreciate your time as always. Thanks again for your advice to not hit on 16. If I go back, I'm calling you up for more advice.
Sounds good, Austin. Hey, we'll see you.
See you, Evan. That's Evan again joining us on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Allo is where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We'll bring in the two Husker Hall of Famers to wrap up on the block. Get you set up for old school in just a sec.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to The Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Buckle up and hang on. This is going to be a good one.
The fans of Kansas Speedway know how to have a good time. One that celebrates fantastic finishes.
Clash together. So close.
And family-friendly facilities. Trading paint.
We got feuding.
And tailgating tradition. Burnouts. Beer. And barbecue. Oh, it'll for sure be a good time. And you are all invited. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 9th through the 11th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best they can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. Tailored Landscapes is on the brink of spring cleanups for all their existing customers, and they have limited spots available. They trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give Tailored Landscapes a call at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of their designers and stop by the Tailored Life store in Bennett.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and my schedule can get a little hectic. From softball practices to going to class, traveling for games, spending time with family, and catching up with friends, I am always on the go. I want a bank that can help me from anywhere, but also be there when I need them. That's Midwest Bank. They have the same mobile banking technology as those big banks, but have that hometown feel that I like every time I walk through the doors. They make banking easy no matter where I am. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Back one final time here on the block for today. Austin Orman, Jay Foreman, Eric Strickland with you. Final segment brought to you by Love Volleyball Omaha. Big thanks as well to Heartland of Nebraska Windows for their sponsorship of the show. Check them out at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Well, another transfer
name, bro.
Eric
I
Strickland,
ain't part
Eric
of this
Strickland,
show.
and Eric Strickland back with you here on the show.
My man. Okay.
I know you're here.
I didn't think you.
You got to shoot out tomorrow.
I
by
thought
the
you've
way,
been
my
trying
boy.
to kick me. No, Jay, run it back.
Yeah, I'm down.
Jay, run it back. He win. I mean, he got he on a roll, man. He ran that off. Blah, 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 blah.
Strick's playing tomorrow. Laying down the ground. I'm the commissioner.
Yeah, what you trying to do, man? You trying to put the jinxie on you trying to put the free throw jinx on me like they always do? You know, he's 8 for 8, and he hasn't missed in.
Call him Eric
in 8
Anderson
games.
Strickland. No, I wouldn't do that to you.
And watch the questions. Jay, you hear me right?
Yeah.
Watch what he throw at me compared to what he throw at the other person tomorrow. Watch this.
I set the questions up for you to do them today, Strick.
You know what?
You volunteered
You know
Jay,
what?
so you threw away your shot at those
you
questions.
get what you get. That's what he's saying, Strick.
I set it up to have a competitive game, and you said no, Jay's going, so now you get what you get.
Okay, show you right.
One final piece of news before we get out of here for the day. Nebraska is set to have a Zoom call with Elijah Saunders. He is a Virginia transfer, also started his career at San Diego State. Intriguing looking at prospect. He's also going to have some calls with Kansas State, Grand Canyon, and Purdue was the other one. 6'8".
He has 1 year left?
1 year left. Yep, 6'8", 240, played in 82 career games, averages 6.5 points, 3.5 rebounds per game. Here's the intriguing part, though. 6'8", 240, that's size. That's good size. Nebraska certainly needs some more of that. Only a 35% three-point shooter last year, 33% for his career, but 83% at the free throw line, 83.5% for his career, which leads you to believe there could be some stretchability there. We led off the show by saying...
But hold on. In 37 games of his sophomore year, 96% from the free throw line, bro.
Not high volume, but good when he gets there. Mm-hmm.
That was crazy. I mean, that's... Yo.
Yeah.
Okay. In 20 minutes, I mean...
Mm-hmm.
That's a crazy number, I think. But yeah, you're right. Not high volume, though. Go ahead.
Either way, Nebraska added Kendall Blue as a transfer today, and I said, hey, there's probably your Bryce Williams replacement. This Elijah Saunders guy, kind of looking like the Juwan Gary of the bowl. Maybe a little thicker, maybe a little bigger, not quite as athletic, but again, kind of wing to big-ish guy sort of stopper. Strick, we'll start with you. We'll move to Jay. Obviously, you're not going to replace those two guys straight up. Not their production, not one-to-one, not their impact, right?
Yeah.
But there's got to be a fine line for a program of you can't call these next guys the next Bryce Williams and the next Juwan Gary, but Nebraska also found an archetype of a player that it likes. So you need to be able to see these guys filling a similar role moving forward. How do you walk that line of not putting those expectations on them, but still having that model for them to follow?
You want them to be who they are. You didn't recruit them here because they're so out of touch with the style of play or whatnot. So for me, you just want them to be the best version of themselves. You want them to obviously fit in with the culture, and you want there to be integrity there, and you want them to be someone that's willing to lay it on the line, have a sense of humility, knowing that they're coming in, a willingness to step forward if opportunity presents itself, and then shine when given the opportunity to shine like a diamond. So again, it seems to me that it's a lot of role type players that are being brought in. Is that going to be your style? A bunch of role guys that are going to play collectively well together? Then that's what you're gonna. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know, Jay. I'll give you a few minutes.
Yeah, I think their success obviously is also dependent on, that I'm assuming that Rink is back healthy. And so you have, like, in the Big Ten, a matchup problem, bell cow. So now it's kind of more a version of the Derek Walker. I liked it. I liked that offense there because it freed up a lot of things. Now Rink gives a little bit more outside shot, and Derek was more downhill as a, kind of like a Jokic where you control the break. I think that's where they're going to start. And I think also all these guys in their roles, and you get Lawrence back, so you kind of feel really comfortable. You feel comfortable with Sam. Braden Frager. Janikowski went in the portal. That hurt.
That doesn't mean he's gone, but that could be a leverage
sometimes
play.
You could go in the portal and leverage and say, okay, how you didn't play me, so now you got to pay me because you didn't play me. Now you know what I can do. Now let's re-up. And that's fine. And that maybe that's nothing wrong with that. That's business. And if they can get him back, that's also a big get too. So that's part of this. But then also Braden Frager is part of this as well, because this is actually the class that he would be coming in naturally as a high school kid. But you got him early. So now you're not you can't view him as a redshirt freshman. You got to view him as a sophomore now. You know what I'm saying? So if you get something out of him, he plugs a little bit of those holes from Juwan Gary and maybe a little bit of Bryce of being able to be on the wing, not the shooting prowess, but just a little bit of what you can do offensively. Then you plug in some of these other guys. I think the guy from St. Thomas, Blue, is interesting to see how they use him. It's a little bit of a step up going from the Summit League to obviously Big Ten.
And that's what Crutch said. He needed to probably bulk up and get about 20 more pounds or so.
Right. So so now it's a relationship. How invested are you into the success of the team? Because the part of it is going to be predicated on you.
Come on.
So if you get these guys, I'm telling you, these guys are looking at like as role players right now. And I've been in that situation as a football player. If you really invest, now you become a guy, an answer. They got a ton of options. Now you get answers, and the answers are predicated on what they do. And that's really what it comes down to.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Stricky, what's tomorrow? What's tomorrow? Let the people know.
Excellent Thursday.
This dude here.
You've been fired up all week.
I've been ready.
Jay, what's coming
Uncle
up on Old
Kevy.
School?
Ooh,
What's coming
Uncle
up on Old
Kevy.
School?
Ooh, yeah. What's coming up, Jay?
We got the draft coming up.
Ooh.
That's all that matters.
Shador going down or going up?
If he goes down, he's leveling up. I'm telling you, man.
Your boy, no DB drills.
Who?
He's looking at that wide receiver money.
Travis Hunter.
I would too.
He's gonna be back. He's gonna be T-stepping or natural step. Trust me. He coming in Pro Bowl corner. That's a leverage play.
There you go. We'll break it all down and more coming up on Old School. Both Old School and On the Block are brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Special ingredient butcher shop for every type of meat and every type of. It's grill day.
It
Jay
is.
Foreman's got to wait
Patio
another hour
pounder day
in
tomorrow.
His drive home. Strick, Jay, Austin will do it again tomorrow at 3.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.